I always thought family meant loyalty, until I overheard my parents planning to dump a $200,000 debt on me. While laughing with my rich brother over dinner, they said I'd never say no. They were wrong. They had no idea who I was becoming. My name is Emily Grace, and I'm 25 years old. I used to believe that if you were good, kind, and helpful, your family would love you. I thought being the quiet one, the helper, the one who said yes even when it hurt, would one day be worth it. I was wrong. It happened on a cold Thursday night. I had just finished my late shift at the diner. My back hurt, my feet ached, and my hands were shaking as I carried a small bag of groceries through the front door of our house. It was raining outside, and my jacket was soaked. But I didn't mind. I was used to being tired. As I stepped into the hallway, I saw the light under my parents' bedroom door. I reached into my purse, pulled out their credit card, the one Mom had let me borrow for food, and walked over quietly to return it. I raised my hand to knock, and then I froze. I heard my name. "Don't worry about the business loan, Zach," my mom was saying. "We'll make Emily pay for it. She always does." I blinked. I wasn't sure if I had heard it right. "Yeah," Dad added, laughing. "She's too soft to say no. She'll just cry a little, then send the money like she always does." Then Zach's voice, my brother, loud and clear. I knew she'd be useful for something. I couldn't move. I stood in the hallway, holding that grocery bag with eggs and bread I bought with my last $100, and I felt like I was sinking into the floor. My ears buzzed. My hands got cold. My heart pounded so loud I thought they might hear it. I had always tried so hard. I worked double shifts. I skipped meals so there'd be enough food at home. I gave Zach money whenever he asked, even when it meant I couldn't pay my own rent on time. And now, I was just useful for something. I backed away from the door. Slowly, quietly, like a ghost. No one noticed. I went to my small bedroom at the end of the hall, shut the door gently, and sat down on the edge of my bed. I didn't cry. Not yet. My face just felt empty. I stared at the wall, at the small calendar where I marked off workdays. I thought about every time I had paid for Zach's mistakes. When he crashed my first car, I used my savings to fix it. When he dropped out of college, I gave him half of my student grant to help him figure things out. When he didn't pay rent, I told the landlord it was my fault and worked overtime to cover us. I thought that's what family did. But I was wrong. They didn't love me for who I was. They loved me for what I gave. And now they were planning to put $200,000 of debt on me, like it was nothing. They laughed about it. That hurt the most. That night, I didn't eat dinner. I didn't shower. I didn't even change out of my diner uniform. I just lay there in bed, looking at the ceiling. I felt numb, like something inside me had broken. But in the middle of all that pain, a strange feeling began to grow in my chest. It wasn't sadness. It wasn't fear. It was something sharp. Something strong. It was fire. I didn't know it yet, but that was the moment I started to change. That was the moment I stopped being the soft girl. That was the night I decided, if they saw me as useful, then I'd show them just how powerful I could be. I woke up the next morning with puffy eyes and a heavy heart. But I didn't cry. Not like before. I got dressed, made my bed, and went into the kitchen like nothing had happened. Mom was there, humming, making pancakes. Dad sat at the table, reading the newspaper. Zach strolled in, wearing his designer hoodie, looking fresh like he hadn't worked a single day in his life. They smiled at me. "Morning, sweetie," Mom said, flipping a pancake. "Sleep well?" Dad asked, sipping his coffee. I smiled back. A fake one. "Yeah," I said. "Great." But inside, I was boiling. They thought I didn't hear. They thought I'd say yes, like always. They didn't know who I was becoming. Let me tell you something about my life. I have always been the girl who never said no. When I was 9, I gave up my birthday money so Zach could get a new video game. When I was 13, I cleaned the whole house every weekend because Mom said Zach had too much homework. When I was 17, Zach borrowed my laptop for a day and kept it for 6 months. When I finally asked for it back, he said I was selfish. When I was 19, Dad lost money in a bad business deal. I dropped out of my art school to help with bills. Every single time, I said yes, even when it hurt. Even when I cried alone at night, hugging my pillow like it could take the pain away. They never said thank you. Not once. Zach always had it easy. He was the star, the favorite, the future of the family. He never cleaned. He never worked. He partied, crashed cars, and blamed me for things he did. And they always forgave him. They called me the reliable one. But what they meant was, the one we can use. That morning, as I sat eating pancakes I didn't want, something clicked in my mind. I will not be their doormat anymore. I had kept a secret from them. For 2 years, while working at the diner, I was learning something new. Digital marketing. Late at night, after work, I'd sit on my old laptop and study. I learned how to run ads, write copy, build websites. I took free courses online, practiced every day, and started helping small shops grow their businesses online. At first, I made a little, maybe $50 here and there. But then I got good. Really good. Soon, I was making $500 a month. Then $1,000. Then even more. I never told anyone, not even my friends. I kept it all in a separate bank account, just mine. It wasn't enough to make me rich yet, but it was enough to build a way out. That night, after pretending to smile through dinner, I went back to my room. I locked the door, sat at my desk, opened my laptop, and stared at my savings. $38,200. It wasn't a fortune, but to me it was power. It was freedom. They think I'm soft, I whispered. But I'm not. I started writing down everything I remembered from their conversation. The loan, the plan, the fake kindness. I had no proof yet, but I had time, and I had a plan. For the next few days, I stayed quiet. I did the chores. I went to work. I laughed when they joked. But every night I was planning, saving every email, every bill, watching them. Zach didn't even notice. Mom kept asking me to run errands. Dad said, "Emily, you've always been the glue of this family." I nodded and smiled. But in my head, I was already pulling myself away. They were right about one thing. I would never say no. Because I didn't need to. I was going to say goodbye. I waited 3 more weeks. 3 long weeks of pretending. I smiled, I cleaned, I paid bills. I even gave Zach money when he said his account was frozen again. I watched them play me like a puppet. But I wasn't angry anymore. I was ready. One morning, I woke up at 5 a.m. before anyone else. I opened my laptop. The blue light glowed on my face in the dark as I stared at the balance in my secret bank account. $42,800. I took a deep breath. Then, I started typing. I logged into the joint family account, the one where Mom had added me years ago, just to help with bills. And then, I transferred everything I had legally earned, the money I brought in through my digital marketing jobs, out of that account into a private one. Click. Done. Then I logged into the backup credit card. Froze it. Click. Done. Then I sent one final email to the bank. Please remove my name from the family business loan. I did not apply for it. I have attached documents for review. My hands were shaking, but I felt light, free. For the first time in years, I didn't feel like the background character in my own life. I felt like the one holding the pen. By noon, I packed my bag. Just a suitcase and my laptop. I left a note on my bed. It didn't say much. Thanks for everything. I'm done being useful. Emily. I walked out the front door without making a sound. The sun was bright. The wind was soft. I didn't look back. I moved into a small studio apartment across town. It wasn't fancy. The walls were a little cracked. The kitchen barely fit a fridge. But it was mine. I slept on a mattress on the floor, and I felt like a queen. No yelling. No guilt. No fake love. Just silence. And me. At night, it got lonely. I'd sit by the window with a mug of tea and wonder, did they even notice I left? I waited for a call. 1 day passed. Then 2. Then a week. Nothing. Not from Zach. Not from Mom. Not even from Dad. I thought I'd be sad. But I wasn't. I was just done. I focused on my work. I got 2 new clients. I helped a bakery grow their online orders by 300%. I worked day and night, building websites, running ads, writing email campaigns. And the money. It kept growing. Then one afternoon, I got a strange envelope in the mail. It had my name on it, but the return address was from First Horizon Bank. I opened it and gasped. It was a loan notice for $200,000. Under my name. Signed. Approved. Accepted. My blood ran cold. I didn't remember signing anything like that. And then I knew. They did it. They forged my signature. My own parents. My own brother. They had stolen my name to save Zach's failing business. I stared at the paper for a long time. My hands were shaking again, but not from fear this time. From rage. They didn't just laugh about using me. They actually did it. They broke the law. And now, I was going to break them. I didn't sleep that night. The loan paper sat on my desk, staring at me like a ghost. $200,000. In my name. Without my permission. I felt like the air had been sucked out of my apartment. But I didn't cry. Not this time. I had cried enough. Now, I was going to fight. The next morning, I walked into the nearest bank branch with the letter in my hand. I wore my best blazer, tied my hair up, and looked the banker straight in the eye. Someone took out this loan in my name, I said. And I didn't sign anything. The banker, a kind woman with glasses, looked shocked. Do you have ID? She asked. I handed her everything. Driver's license. Bank cards. My signature. Then I pulled out my phone and showed her proof. Screenshots of texts from Mom saying, Zach needs help with the business again. Voice memos where my dad once joked, you're like our little ATM. Old emails showing I was out of town the week the loan was signed. And finally, a signature comparison. Mine versus the one on the loan. They didn't match. The bank opened an investigation that same day. They said it would take time, but they promised they'd look into it. I walked out of that bank with my hands still shaking, but this time, from hope. I had spoken up. I had chosen me. Days passed. Then a week. I kept working, serving clients, building websites, growing my side hustle. And then, the call came. Hello, Ms. Grace. We've reviewed the documents. The loan was fraudulently signed. Your name has been cleared. but the case is now being passed to our legal department. I froze. What happens now? I asked quietly. We'll be pursuing the actual borrowers, the ones who applied using your identity. My heart was thudding. They were going after them. It didn't take long after that. The next week, Zach called me. For the first time in months. Emily, what did you do? He yelled. The bank just froze my business account. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't cry. I protected myself, I said. Just like you protected yourself with my name. He cursed, begged, shouted some more. I hung up. Then Mom called. Emily, sweetie, there's been a misunderstanding. We were just trying to help your brother. He's under so much pressure. I almost laughed. So you stole my identity? Forged my name? We thought you'd understand. You always help. I paused. Not anymore, Mom. Click. Within days, everything fell apart for them. The business was audited. The fake documents were exposed. Dad had to face a legal hearing. Zach's credit score dropped so low, he couldn't even buy groceries with a card. They tried to call again. Tried to guilt me. But I didn't answer. I didn't need revenge that looked loud or messy. I just needed them to feel what I had felt. Used. Invisible. Alone. I stayed quiet, sipping coffee in my small apartment, watching it all fall apart from a distance. No fire. No fight. Just silence. And truth. That was enough. I didn't know what peace felt like. Until I had it. No yelling. No guilt-tripping calls. No one asking me to clean up a mess they made. Just me. Just quiet. And I loved it. My business kept growing. The small clients I helped told their friends. And their friends told more people. Soon, I was working with people from all over the country. Small business owners, artists, even a fashion store from another state. I had so many clients, I hired 2 other girls online to help me with the work. Me, Emily Grace, the soft girl, the yes girl, now building a real business, a real life, all on my own. Then one day something happened, a knock on my apartment door. I looked through the peephole and felt my stomach twist. It was Mom. She looked tired. Her hair was messy, and her eyes were red. I opened the door halfway. Hi, Emily, she said softly. Can we talk? I didn't move. She held out a bag of muffins. Your favorite. From that bakery near the park. I didn't take them. Why are you here? I asked. We're struggling. The bank won't stop calling. Your father's sick with stress. Zach had to shut down the store. She looked up at me. We need help. I stared at her. This was the same woman who once told Zach, "Don't worry. Emily will cover it. She always does." And now, she was at my door. Asking. Begging. I took a deep breath. You didn't come here for me, I said. You came because you want something. She flinched. That's not true, sweetheart. But we both knew it was. I forgive you, I said softly. But I'm not saving you. I closed the door. Gently. I stood there for a moment, heart racing. Then I walked back inside, sat on my couch, and let the quiet fill the room. I wasn't angry. I wasn't sad. I was free. That evening, I made a cup of tea, turned on soft music, and looked at my laptop. One client had just paid me $7,000 for a 2-week campaign. Another booked me for next month. I smiled. This was the life I built. Not handed to me. Earned. Sometimes I still think about the girl I used to be. The one who said yes to everything. The one who gave up her dreams for people who never said thank you. But that girl is gone now. She left the night she stood outside her parents' door and heard the truth. She left the day she said goodbye without looking back. And me. I'm someone new now. Someone strong. Someone who doesn't let guilt wear her down. Someone who understands that loyalty isn't about being used, it's about respect. I didn't get revenge by yelling, screaming, or fighting. I got revenge by walking away and never coming back.